Earlier on, we were telling you about some transfer reports concerning Morgan Rogers, where we can go to our chief correspondent, Kaveh Solokol, who can bring us this breaking news. Kaveh, over to you.
Yeah, Chelsea have agreed a deal to sign Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. The deal agreed means that it is going to be a record for an English player. Chelsea will be paying Aston Villa £117 million for the 23-year-old. Morgan Rogers, of course, is out here in the States at the moment with the England squad, but as soon as England return to the UK, he will have his medical in London with Chelsea on Monday. He will be signing a contract which potentially is 7 years long. It will be 6 years plus the option of another year. That is quite standard with Chelsea. Of course, we know that they always like to sign players on long contracts. He's still only 23 years old, even though he's established himself at Aston Villa. He was the Europa League Player of the Year last season as Aston Villa won the Europa League. I think this is a big transfer coup for Chelsea, because a lot of people thought that maybe this would be quite a quiet transfer window for Chelsea. We know in the past they've been very, very active under their American owners, but I think this is a real statement of intent by Chelsea, because to pay this kind of money for a player as good as Morgan Rogers really shows that Chelsea still mean business.
Yeah, it's a real coup, Kaveh, as well, isn't it, for Xabi Alonso? I mean, it tells us a lot about the regard in which he's held, probably by the likes of Morgan Rogers, former midfielder himself, because, of course, Villa have Champions League football. Chelsea don't have European football, so there's got to be a pull somewhere for Rogers other than just, you know, the London lights and the wage.
Definitely, Aston Villa were under no pressure to sell him. He had a contract which he'd extended until 2031. And if he'd stayed at Aston Villa, of course, he could have played in the Champions League next season. Now, historically, Chelsea are one of the biggest clubs in English football, but they had a very, very poor season by their standards last time round. They've got a new manager in Xabi Alonso. They don't have any European football at all. They're not in the Champions League, not in the Europa League, not even in the Conference League. So I think all they really have to aim for next season is trying to challenge for the Premier League title, obviously try to win one of the domestic cups, and most importantly get back in the Champions League the following season. I think this shows you that when Xabi Alonso took the Chelsea job, some eyebrows were raised. People thought maybe he would wait for another job, maybe he wanted to manage somebody like Liverpool. But Xabi Alonso accepted the challenge, and you have to assume that he was given assurances that he would be backed in the transfer market. And I think Morgan Rogers, for his part, you would think, well, he had the option of staying at Aston Villa and playing in the Champions League. He had the option of waiting and see if other clubs came in for him as well. But he obviously is very, very keen to move to Chelsea. Chelsea are still a very, very big club, and they're still a very, very ambitious club. So I think this is a real statement of intent by Chelsea. They're not willing just to be also-rans. We've heard their owners have big, big ambitions in the past. Obviously, a lot of those ambitions haven't really materialised yet. The owners want to be winning Champions Leagues. They want to be winning Premier Leagues. I think this signing shows you that they're very, very serious about doing that. And obviously, it's a big, big boost for Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, they've already got stellar midfielders in the Chelsea squad, Kaveh, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, who we saw get that goal against England the other night, Cole Palmer. Where does Morgan Rogers slot in, do you think?
Well, look, that's a really good question, because I remember being at the game between Aston Villa and Chelsea last season, and that was billed as being a game between Cole Palmer and Morgan Rogers. Who was the better player? Who was the better number 10? I think on the day Aston Villa ended up winning that game, and Morgan Rogers played really, really well. So you have to ask the question, will Chelsea be able to have both Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer in the same side? The two players know each other well. I think they were together at Manchester City. Cole Palmer's famous goal celebration. That was a goal celebration that was first invented by Morgan Rogers. I think ideally, if you're a Chelsea fan, you were licking your lips and thinking, wow, I'm really looking forward to seeing both those players in the same side next season. It'll be up to Xabi Alonso to see how he can accommodate both those players in the same side. There are no indications that Chelsea want to sell Cole Palmer. Far from it. He's a player who is tied down to a very, very long contract. Just before the end of the season, he gave a newspaper interview in which he said he was happy at Chelsea, he was happy living in London. I know there have been lots of reports